The all-electric Rivian R1T takes on the world's toughest towing test. This is from TFL. What were the high points for you guys that you found interesting and that you want to talk about?
I love that it actually out accelerated the 1500 Ram
Yeah,
on the ramp.
I was about halfway into it, right?
Right, with 8,000 pounds a trailer and
Mm-hmm.
truck trailer. The other was the range hit in tow. In once they put it in tow mode, that dropped. I don't want to say significantly more than what Rivian had estimated. A good bit more than what Rivian has estimated. How about that? Rivian all along has stated that it was going to be 50% hit with an 11,000 pound trailer load, and from what the TFL guys said, it was 8,100 pounds, I believe. And then once they put it in tow mode, they ended up at 99% charge, 99% state of charge, ended up with 135 or 137 miles of range. And I guess if I had a third one, it would probably be the fact that, um, the truck had no issues towing that trailer up or down the gauntlet. No issues whatsoever.
Right. And they're impressed as far as just the capability of it and the handling of it all for sure. So that's good.
So man, I just have to also tack on that out accelerating a Dodge unloaded Dodge Hemi that's crazy to me while towing. So pretty amazing. And those Hemis are no slouch. They run pretty good. So that's pretty impressive. The stability and the fact that they made multiple comments about how safe and stable and everything else felt, in very extreme. I mean, that is pretty much a worst case towing scenario. I mean, you've got steep grades, you've got cold weather for an EV, and efficiency was less than 50% because even the guessometer with the inclines and everything else, they got less than 50% of normal range. But
Right.
I mean, overall, I think the truck performed really well. One of the things that is pretty interesting is when they were talking about descending and the fact that the regen descending on the way down only added 2%.
Yep.
And that is interesting, but then again, he didn't have to touch the brake pedal on the way down either, which is very impressive. I mean, there's multiple runaway truck ramps on that descent, and it's because it's no joke. And the fact that he was basically using regen without ever having to touch the brake pedal is pretty crazy. The other thing that there's been some speculation about is I think the friction trailer brakes probably took away from some of the regen capability as well. And I'm curious whether the trailer brakes are activated only when the truck's brake lights are activated or any time that it's in even light regen mode. I'm kind of curious about that. And I think that Rivian, through software updates, could optimize the trailer braking, to recoup a little bit more regen when in tow mode. They also pointed out a pretty glaring omission from the Rivian software, and it's that there's no trip meter, no trip odometer.
Yeah, right.
And if Rivian is listening, number one, I know that should be a pretty quick and easy fix, but let's get that in there. And Skylar's special request on that is also to include not only trip mileage but trip energy usage. And if you could even go a step further than that and break it down between drivetrain and HVAC and potentially accessory energy usage, that's something that I know people would love to be able to see in kind of granular detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that the first time we've heard about the odometer miss, like a trip thing missing? I thought we had heard about that once before.
We have.
Yeah. But now it's definitely out there, huh?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, if our Bolt has all of those metrics, Skylar. So
Okay.
I mean, if our Bolt can show that, I know for sure Rivian could definitely add that with a couple key clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's definitely possible. I mean, who knows where it is on the list of software and UI priorities, but at the same time, that's a feature that people use a lot in existing vehicles, and it needs to be there in some capacity.
Yeah, no overheating, no. I mean, they ran into one issue with the cruise control, and I don't know if that was due to maybe some freezing that they might have had on one of the cameras. I'm not 100%, or one of the sensors. But yeah, no excessive heat or anything like that to the drivetrain during that entire tow either, which was, I know from past videos that TFL has done, they've experienced that with other half-ton and 3/4-ton trucks or 1-ton trucks.
Okay. A little glitch here at the end when they still had 337 miles of range left with just 16% of battery. And then they stopped to charge at one point and had a pretty good curve up until about like 38% or 40%. And then they had a dip and then it went back up, right?
Yes.
Needless to say, I mean, we've heard on pretty good information that it is software limited right now, the charging speeds. And definitely looks like they still have some work to do there. And there's speculation, why did it slow down and then pick back up? Is that battery conditioning that's going on? But the good news is it's software limited right now. It should get better, more consistent, and faster over time.
The one thing that I was actually really glad that they decided to do at the very end was push it instead of charging before they got back, just to kind of give all of us a really good idea that not necessarily that you can push it and you can get to your destination, but gravity, downhill driving, more city type driving in an EV uses a lot less energy than what people think. Therefore, they ended up, I think, I don't remember the exact mileage. It was single digits they were going to get home with originally. And then by pushing it, they were able to get home with 16 miles of range left, or 16% of the battery left.
Awesome test. And I'm glad to see a vehicle in someone's hands to do some actual testing. I've really enjoyed all the TFL videos. So thanks, TFL, and thanks, employee Chad, for letting them use your truck.
Yeah, 100%. Well put there at the end. Yep. Speaking of that, I mean, what are the updates to kind of push it into a new direction? But I thought of this as we're talking about it. Any kind of updates that we have heard, I mean, not that we have sources, but just on the forums or whatnot about how production's going, deliveries. Jimmy, I know that you spoke with someone today who is not an employee who is willing to come on and talk to us next week. So if you're watching now, we'd love if you would thumbs up and subscribe and join us and keep coming back for more, because we'll have more of that coming on, because we've talked forever. I mean, that one thing we'd like to do is just more interviews with owners, but we couldn't do that with an employee, so hopefully we'll start seeing more and more non-employees. Any kind of updates?
Other than talking to that individual who hopefully we'll have on next weekend, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bloomberg reported that, Rivian's up to around 200 vehicles per week.
Yep.
And I think, it's only going to continue ramping up from there. And it sounds like, they did some upgrades or changes to the line early January when it was shut down for a week. And they battled with some COVID issues through the plant. So, I mean, it's time for things to really start cranking up. And I'm excited about that, and excited for more non-employee customers to start receiving their vehicles.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, thanks for watching. This is to be continued, so please do subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the meantime, please do join us over at rivianstories.com. This really is a phenomenal community. It's the community for true Rivian fans and owners. You'll find a ton of great interaction and information, and you can even pick yourself up a t-shirt or sweatshirt. Thanks.